Grand Rising loved ones. Welcome back to another episode of Healing Wisdom with me, your favorite spiritual advisor, Empress Oracle. I hope everyone is doing well today. I'm doing well. Thank you for asking. Thank you. So today I have an interesting topic, but first, of course, we're going to start off with our spiritual copyright disclaimer. So say it with me. You know it. On behalf of Starseed Galactic Federation, I have been given access to this knowledgeable information from my Akashic records for the purpose of helping humanity. This information is given directly to me as a divine channel, and any use or reproduction of this information without proper accreditation or acknowledgement from which this information was received will result in instant karma for the plagiarizing parties or individual. And so it is. Now that we got that out the way, today I'm going to talk to you guys about a reprobate mind. I'm not sure if you guys have heard of that. Me personally, I have heard of a reprobate mind before because I grew up in the church and my pastor used to talk about it all the time, and it is very real and very true because in all of my luscious, voluptuous 38 years, I have come across quite a few people that unfortunately were turned over to reprobate minds from nobody else's doing other than their own, because that's how you end up in a reprobate mind. So reprobate is the meaning for reprobate as per Webster Dictionary is an unprincipled or depraved person. Okay. Now, everyone is born with an internal compass that is either nurtured and developed into a healthy conscience, or is exploited. And in that turn, since it's exploited, it will breed sociopathic tendencies. Now, sociopathic, as per Webster Dictionary, is defined as a social or antisocial behavior or personality disorder. Now, we all know various types of sociopaths. Not everybody is intentionally a sociopath. Some people, their personality characteristics along with their environment, that's what breeds that, which is what we're saying right here. But regardless of a person's environment, they innately have an idea of how they want to be treated because their ego will always have that desire. And that is very true. Now, a lot of times we like to define our ego just as that zhuzh that we have. Some people have that huge ego where they just feel as though, their shit don't stink or anything like that. But that is not just the ego. The ego can also be those feelings that you have inside of you that either push you forward to prosper and do good things, or they hold you back because they tell you negative things about yourself, or they amplify and highlight negative feelings or traits that you have inside of yourself, and in turn it becomes nasty or negative, detrimental to your prosperousness and your well-being. So when people tend to be turned over to a reprobate mind, that just does not happen overnight. Now, if you are a good person and you get caught up in a situation and you make the wrong decision, or you go ahead knowing that you should go right but you go left, it's okay. That's not going to turn you over to a reprobate mind, because people who are turned over to a reprobate mind, they do not have that guilt in their conscience whenever they do something that is either morally, emotionally, physically, legally incorrect. They don't give a fuck. That's the type of people who are turned over to reprobate minds. They just go as though they have nothing to lose. So therefore, anything that they come across or anybody that they come across is liable to become a victim of them. Because when people are in reprobate minds, they act out of selfishness and the need or want for instant self-gratification, which can be deadly, not just to that person, but to their peers around them as well. And that's something that we need to take into mind. If you are around somebody, for example, those people who are career criminals, those are people who are turned over to reprobate minds because they have been punished through various extents of the law. And along with that, if you're being a criminal and you're getting caught, obviously you're not good at it. Obviously, why you keep on getting caught, but yet they continue that toxic cycle, that toxic pattern of destruction, loss, and grief not caring that when they do that, their loss of freedom, not only does it affect them, but it affects the people around them, their family and stuff, but they don't care because they are in a reprobate mind. They do the things that cause them to get in trouble because they get that rush, that instant gratification. Sometimes, their chemical makeup inside of their brain is just not correct. And therefore, in order for them to get that pleasure feeling, that release of endorphins in our brain that gives us that rush, a lot of times people who are turned over to reprobate minds is criminal activities or unsavory, poor morally characteristic things that they do in order to get that rush. Because 9 times out of 10, those are things that normal people with a healthy conscience and a fair ego would not do, because they know that it's not right. Whether it's not illegal or not, they know it's not right to do morally. That's why it's important to know that when a person is turned over to reprobate mind, it's when the ego chooses to thrive off of the shadow aspects of a person's personality traits, as I said before, to feed the ego in an unhealthy way. And there's a lot of times, even people who suffer from severe gluttony, like when you watch My 600-Pound Life and stuff, some of those people have been turned over to a reprobate mind when it comes to food, which is their guilty pleasure. It might not be harming anybody that is close to them at that time, but the long-term effects of it, their family has to deal with loss, the burdens and stress of, if they die from any type of illness or anything, they have to pick up the pieces afterwards. But those people, they don't care because they're getting that instant gratification, that rush through their guilty pleasure. That's another example of that. And instant gratification purposes, they vary for different people. As I said before, it can be food for some people, but as I said with the career criminals, the instant gratification is, oftentimes it comes in the form of theft. They see something that they want, and instead of going about acquiring it as a normal person would by either working for it or purchasing it, they don't care about, the negative consequences, and they just take it. They just say, fuck it. You have the ones who are turned over to reprobate minds for physical abuse, where they don't care that they are hurting the people that they love. When they get angry, only their feelings matter, and to feed their ego or their shadow side that's telling them, I just want to hit somebody, I just want to punch somebody, they go ahead and they do that. And they're not sorry because they continue this cycle. They may apologize, but when someone is truly sorry, it'll show in their actions. Actions always speak louder than words. And that is something important. If you feel as though you are involved with somebody or your peers around you are all turned over into reprobate minds, watch what happens whenever they do the things that they do that is unhealthy, not just to them, but to others around them. And watch what their response is. Do they apologize for it? Okay, if they apologize for it, do they seem sincere? Once they give you their sincere apology, do they do the same thing over again? And it doesn't have to necessarily be that same specific circumstance or thing that they do again. It can be something else that is equally destructive or harmful to themselves and to others. Take that into consideration. People willingly turn over to reprobate minds with no thought to repercussions, because when they starve the conscience, they can no longer communicate with spirit or tap into their intuition, because they become blocked or spiritually cloaked in darkness. And that is something that is real and true. Whether you are a spiritual person or not, every body, every human body, inside of it, it contains a spirit that belongs to that person's energy. When you are not having positive energetic flow, you block it. Whether it is through your mouth from lying, you're blocking your throat chakra, okay? Your intuition is not going to guide you to speak, to say certain things, to say things that's going to pour love and light into people. It's going to be blocked. When you continue to lie all the time, you're blocking it. You're blocking your intuition. It's going to get to the point where you're not even going to know the truth. You're going to start believing your lies. You're going to start living in your truth, and you're going to make an ass of yourself to the community. People don't understand that. And when you are spiritually cloaked in darkness, that is the worst thing. Imagine being in a well-lit room and you feel like all of the lights are on. You can't see shit. You don't know where to go. You don't know to reach out. You don't know to sit down. You don't know anything because you're cloaked in darkness. That is what people do to themselves when they turn themselves over to these reprobate minds. When they block off of their intuition, they have no guidance. And being out here in this world is already hard enough. But when you are tapped out, when you're tapped out, but you're still alive, you're still walking around, you have no guidance and stuff, You leave your vessel open to everything that is of a low and dark vibration. You'll never fully achieve what you want. You may gain material things for a time, but what goes up must go down, especially when it is acquired in the wrong way. When you don't listen to your intuition and you no longer can communicate with spirit, you are ungrounded. You walk around life lost. That's why you see a lot of people out here, especially people that are turned over into reprobate minds. If they're not doing whatever that action is to give them that instant gratification, they don't know what to do with themselves. They're walking shit shows, straight up clowns, lost. Okay, no sense of direction, no sense of self. The only direction they see is whatever that thing is that gives them that instant gratification, whatever that thing is that turned them over into a reprobate mind. That is basically, like becoming a robot here on earth. Everybody else is working to fulfill themselves, to live to their highest purpose, and you over here doing the same shit over and over, continually getting locked up, continually having these vicious cycles of loss and grief and anxiety and pain and suffering, not just for you but for those around you. That's highly unfortunate. Highly unfortunate. The more you feed into a reprobate mind, the more you feed into darkness, which in turn is a form of selling your soul to darker energies or entities such as money, greed, lust, envy, any one of those things, anything, because it becomes habitual. And once you feed that dark energy, you have to keep feeding it. You have to keep on feeding it. That drains your soul. That's basically you signing a soul contract to drain yourself with no true rewards, because at the end, you're going to be the one who suffers. Just think about that, guys. Think about that. Don't be turned over to a reprobate mind. Trust you me. I know a lot of people, they don't want to think too hard about things. They feel like so much is going on in their mind. They really don't care. But in the long run, you'll have no soul, you'll have no purpose, you truly will have no life. Is that what you want for yourself? Think about that. Always feed your conscience, feed your soul good things that's going to edify it and bring it up. It's up to you. We have a thing called free will. Spirit, he gives us free will. We are all granted with free will. Therefore, once we hear our soul, our intuition speak to us, and tell us, no, we should not do that, and advise us, and we go the other way, each time we do that, that voice gets a little lower, it gets a little smaller, and then one day, you have nobody telling you not to do it within yourself, and the next thing you know, boom, you're fucked. For good. And that, my friends, is a reprobate mind. Don't do that to yourself. Well, with that being said, I'm going to go now. As you can hear, life is going on and I have things to do. I just wanted to leave you guys with that message and nothing but love and light. Be blessed and have a wonderful day. I love you.